What if I told you that by seeking out even more rejection and failure than you're used to, the result would be an abundance of career success and perhaps even more happiness and fulfillment in your personal life? The framework that I'm going to share with you here today is how I think about seeking out uncomfortable situations, and more importantly, using that fear as a compass to guide my actions and make my call to action. Whether it's making a cold call to a prospect, facing the fear of being rejected, or even asking a girl out in real life at the end of yoga class, which is something I proudly did this weekend. Got her number, and I'm optimistic we're going to hang out. So I think you're going to get a lot of value out of today's video, and especially for those of you who are career driven like I, because you are effectively paid to be told no as a sales rep. And the old cliche is each no gets you closer to a yes. And it only takes one yes to make progress towards your wildest dreams, whether it's promoting, getting more career recognition, status, prestige, more money, just a pat on the back. This information is going to help you. But first, I want to set the stage. And no matter where you're at right now, your confidence level, the real world results you have, or whatever your dreams, goals, aspirations are, you can secure the most unbelievable job despite not having the credentials on paper or being qualified for it, quote unquote. You right now can be the top performing rep on your team, or better yet, even the entire sales organization. You can even start posting content online without seeking permission to do it. That's exactly what I did. I was working in a large company. I just started posting YouTube videos. Did it lead to me eventually getting fired? Yes, but I had a nice run for a few years. Belief comes before ability. Our destiny is determined by our actions. Get used to the fear. Why not you? That's what I want you to take away from this video. No matter what it is you want, ask yourself, why not you? Why can't you get the promotion? Why can't you be top of the organization? Why can't you get the job? Why can't you get that girl or guy? Why can't you get that dream body that you want? You must have this end goal and begin by identifying, well, what are the successful inputs I need to be doing on a day-to-day basis to actually achieve it? And let's first begin by looking at sales, because that's what I do for a living. And I know most of you watch my videos to sell more and make more money. So if you think about hitting quota, it first starts with generating pipeline. You need to set up meetings so you can get qualified opportunities that result in pipeline, and that eventually leads to revenue. So whether your incentive and you get paid based on setting meetings or actually working those deals start to finish, generating revenue, this is going to be relevant to you. It starts with getting pipeline, getting meetings. What better way to get meetings than making cold calls? This is something I like to talk a lot about because I've made 60,000 outbound cold calls. I've been body bagged, I've been rejected. I've also set incredible meetings. Sales is effectively a contact sport. You are seeking out these collisions and these challenges because you must make your ask. And as uncomfortable as it is for you to be told no, oftentimes the fear of wondering, well, maybe I shouldn't make this call because of XYZ, whatever that ambiguous XYZ fear is, you are allowing the thought of what could be to actually prevent you from being what is. If I ask you to take a meeting with me and you say, hey, Trent, we don't have any budget, I don't want to meet with you, that doesn't feel as bad as me sitting here by myself in my own head thinking about all of these unknown possibilities about how bad it could be. So recognize that this fear system that you are allowing to restrict your action is actually to your detriment. We all have negative thoughts, so we must identify fear as a compass or as a signal to guide our actions. So the things that you are actually most afraid of, the rejections that you are most concerned about, that is because you have identified it as a successful input that will result in you achieving your goals. So if it is to have more success in sales, you know how important it is to make that call and to actually seek out more rejections, because the more you do that, the higher probability you have of actually setting meetings. Even if you're terrible on the phone, you can just simply keep making calls. And I want you to think about this even a layer deeper. As uncomfortable as it is for you to be rejected, oh, poor me, it's actually pretty uncomfortable and kind of awkward to tell someone else no, to disagree with them. We as humans are not wired to be disagreeable because evolutionarily, we're in these tribes, 150 people, and if you're constantly disagreeing with people, you're going to get voted out of the tribe and your odds of survival are much less. So recognize that this is an evolutionarily feeling. Disagreeableness doesn't feel good for you. It also doesn't feel good for the other person. It's much easier for me as the prospect to reject you via email. Hey, not interested. Never respond to another note. It's much harder for me, the prospect, to tell you no on the phone. You're worried about being told no. They also don't want to tell you no. So it's this weird situation in which you need to seek out more of those situations and put the prospect in a situation where they actually don't want to disagree with you and they just will take your meeting. And if you've done your due diligence and work up to that point, you know it's a qualified account, you know it's the right buyer persona, and then you keep showing up, you keep seeking out those no's, you keep using that fear as the compass to guide your actions. And I want to tell a real world story here because I asked a girl out this weekend, and it's not something I do often, but I've recognized recently that I'm not actively looking for anything in particular, but if I'm not actually seeking out these situations, it's never just going to come to me. I unfortunately don't have a warm inbound system to set up dates for me. So what I need to do is exist in the real world to go to certain situations like yoga class where I know the warm leads are going to be people that I resonate with, and I can look at what's happening here and then use fear. Oh, I identified a girl that I think is attractive, that I want to get to know more. Okay, I have fear. I've identified that. Rather than shying away and just staying in my own head and worrying about, well, maybe something will happen, or, yoga class, everyone's so close together, like, how am I going to get her number or progress this? I just decided, you know what? I got to use the fear to my advantage and actually seek out a situation where I could be rejected. So I point blank went up, started talking, and said, hey, can I get your number? She's like, all right, now we're talking. And I'm optimistic we're going to hang out this week. So you're going to have to subscribe to the channel now for more updates on that. But the point of the story is I used the fear to seek out, rather than assuming rejection. I looked at it and I said, all right, well, I actually want to win more so than I fear loss. So what is the best case scenario? Okay, I get the number and all of a sudden, you never know what could happen. What's the worst case scenario? I am told no, I get rejected, and I just thicken my skin up, quote unquote, and I am now more resilient to the rejection. And that is the final point I'm going to make today. By seeking out more of these rejections and uncomfortable situations, you become more resilient to actually being told no. So as soon as you start to become a machine to seek out the most uncomfortable of situations that present you the best upside, where you can win, where you can get the girl, you can call the most valuable account in your book of business, you can call that prospect that you have no business meeting with them. You're right out of college, you don't know as much as you need to know. Calling an executive that's 58 years old, that's a chief level of really importance, that makes way more money than you. They have no business taking your meeting, but by seeking out that contact and actually making your ask, accepting that you might fail in devastating fashion, that's okay, because that's where the beauty's at. That's where the opportunity's at. So if there's anything you take away from this video, whenever you feel afraid of something, it's because you know you really need to be doing that thing. And that is actually beautiful, because it's your body signaling to your mind, because you out-rationalize, I don't want to do it. Your body signals to your mind, okay, I need to go in that direction. I need to do the thing. I just need to do it. You might get rejected. You might fail, but you'll start to get out of your mind, use the fear to your advantage, and I promise you that is a surefire way to achieve better results in your career, in your personal life, whatever it is you're trying to do, I give you permission to seek out some rejection.